Hi, I'm Dr. Jim.
And I'm Dr. Janine.
Thank you for joining us here today. We want to talk to you about something pretty important. It's something that hits occasionally, and we call it a hit piece by the American medical associations, and it really is a hit piece. But this time it's on melatonin. A few years ago, it was omega-3s. If you took omega-3s, you were going to die. Now it's melatonin.
A lot of the supplements, they will come out with one little thing that comes out of not even a study, but an observational study, and they will hit every news channel there is.
New research shows taking melatonin for long periods of time could be a sign of underlying heart issues.
And that's what has happened with melatonin. And we have gotten multiple calls, people worried because they're taking melatonin and it makes it sound like it is such a higher risk for congestive heart failure. Well, what their observational study was they took records from hospitals and they actually, people that were prescribed melatonin, they used them as the study group, and then they just took people that didn't say they were taking melatonin and used it as a placebo group. Well, the problem is they used some of the information from the United States. Melatonin is not a prescribed substance the way it is in the UK. So there was possible that it was actually people that took melatonin even in the placebo group. So it was not a study at all, not even close. So we just kind of wanted to let people know kind of what it did so you could make your own decision. And there's even been a lot of rebuttals out there. I saw something on Fox News and they were saying, don't stop your melatonin just from what it said.
I don't think we should be too worried. It's something that will warrant further research.
I saw an article with a doctor that was a interventional cardiologist from Emory that said this should not make people stop taking their melatonin, because it is not what the headlines look like. The headlines were, melatonin long-term can cause heart failure. Well, in their flawed observational study, 4.6% of the people that was in the group that took melatonin got congestive heart failure, and 7% of the other group did not take melatonin, got congestive heart failure.
Well, we have to remember this was not a randomized control study.
No.
It was not even peer-reviewed. Okay, so think about this. This is an opinion piece. That's basically what it is. I mean, they call it an observational study. It's a hit piece called basically an opinion piece. My opinion is this person's ugly. Your opinion could be just the opposite. That's what this is. And it scares the bejesus out of patients.
Yep.
We've got people that's been taking melatonin for 10, 15 years because of insomnia. And now all of a sudden they're freaking out. Oh my God, I'm going to die tomorrow. And I said, no. Because when you start looking at the research on melatonin, I mean, it goes way back. But just in the past year
on the peer-reviewed published studies on melatonin, there was 2,060. So 2,000 studies, over 2,000 studies were done on melatonin for various things, from prevention of Alzheimer's to helping elderly patients in hospitals have better outcomes to helping possibly osteoporosis. Melatonin has a lot of benefits, not just sleep. Do your own research if you're worried.
Yes.
Maybe you should go to PubMed and type in melatonin. See what kind of studies are out there and see what has been peer-reviewed and see what actually the benefits are. When it comes to cardiovascular health, there's actually been a lot of positive things published within the last year on melatonin on cardiovascular.
There was 118 studies last year, just within the past year, on melatonin and cardiovascular disease and the various benefits of melatonin and various cardiovascular problems like arrhythmias, things like that. So because it goes back to the circadian rhythms, and they've been talking about this for a long time in various areas of cardiology about the circadian rhythms and arrhythmias. Think AFib, okay, things like that. That's the kind of problems they're having. And actually, melatonin shows to be very beneficial in regulating the circadian rhythms, which helps regulate the cardiovascular rhythm itself.
Yep.
So
we know that sleep problems itself, and especially sleep apnea, definitely increase congestive heart failure. So that is another reason why we say the very flawed study, because it didn't really take any specific people. It just took all people, and it didn't take people that had any other issues with it. So you can't really go by this study. He won't be stopping his melatonin because of it.
Oh, definitely not. I can promise you, and I've probably one of those that's been taking melatonin for 15, 20 years.
Long time.
It goes to show you, there's so many people that take melatonin, and like I say, it scared the bejesus out of everybody. It really did. I mean, all of a sudden, our phones just blew up, when that thing hit the piece at the store, in the office there, it just went crazy. Asking, of course, I printed out a few of the positive things I did here. This is just in the last year. So our staff was just handing out papers like crazy, because I really think you need to learn about PubMed anyhow. PubMed is the National Institution of Health. It's their big website. They've got all archived, peer-reviewed studies in it. This study won't show up there. Maybe eventually down the road they'll do something that will, but that one's not going to show up there yet. That's for sure. And when you look at the positive effects from that, you'll see a lot of really big positive effects from that stuff. So just rest your mind and rest your head, because you can take your melatonin. Hopefully you'll sleep better tonight with this. And if you've been taking melatonin and have stopped, I don't think it's going to hurt you to start back, because there's just so much positive. It's an antioxidant. It helps control those circadian rhythms. It helps everything to think about the cardiovascular system.
Right. And even some of the things in the nervous system. I mean, almost every system in the body, there's been studies to show that it can benefit. We just wanted to let everybody know, don't stop taking your melatonin. I mean, if you don't need it, that's one thing. But if you need it to sleep, sleep is so important, and just not sleeping actually increases the chances of congestive heart failure. Do your own research. Don't believe the headlines.
Well, unfortunately, I think that what happens if you start reading the believing the headlines, I think you've been bought and sold right there. It's not a good thing for you, that's for sure. All right. Hopefully you got something out of this. If you have any questions, give us a call. We'd love to talk to you about melatonin or anything else you have a health question about. Thank you so much for joining us today.